Greetings and welcome for our chat, which we're actually now doing the second time because the audio didn't come out the first time, so blame me for that one. We're at CES 2020 at the Pepcom Digital Experience tonight, and I'm here joined by a couple of, three actually, terrific industry colleagues. I'm going to have them introduce themselves. We'll talk a little bit about what we saw here now, what we saw at the show today. So, Adrian, let's start with you.
Hi, Adrian Cotterill from the DailyDOOH.
Mark Peterson, Shen, Milsom, Wilke.
Jon Grover from Polycom.
All right, well, really? That's $5 in the till for you.
Jon Grover from Poly.
That's much better. Okay, so we saw a lot of things here. The Pepcom Digital Experience is a show within a show. We saw a lot of exhibitors. Everybody, it's democratized. Everybody just has a table or two tables at most. No big monuments to everything else going on. And we want to kind of get a sense. We've been at CES now for 2.5 days. The media events and the show's not even opening till tomorrow morning. What are the themes? What are some of the things we saw? I mean, I'm looking at Alltech Lansing's $39 wireless earbuds and JLab's $30 wireless earbuds. The era of AirPods and really expensive Bluetooth audio headphones is kind of going away, and that's an interesting thing. So that's definitely one of the trends that I'm picking up here. You guys have anything that you're seeing as well?
I think health and fitness is one of the big areas where people are starting to connect everything together. So they're bringing them all online. There's a number of exercise bikes here, actually at Pepcom, Bowflex, which some of you will know from a brand, and they've done Bowflex.
Yeah, beautiful.
Beautiful. Nice. Yeah. Beautiful. Very nice. They look good, and they're competing with Peloton, Peloton's pretty much a closed system. So it's a bit like Apple with iPod and iTunes, and Nespresso coffee capsules with their machines and their capsules. But they've taken it all apart, and you plug your own iPad or your own Samsung Galaxy device in it. And then they've got some of their more complicated machines, things like the cross trainers that some of us may well have tried to use in a gym. And unless you look like Arnold Schwarzenegger or you're incredibly fit like a triathlete, or who was the guy? Mark Phelps. Mike Phelps, who presented earlier at one of the press conferences. It's very difficult to use machines, and they're using intelligence they test you on the machine, and then they try and give you a program to figure out how you can get better at the whole thing. So seeing a lot of the health and fitness stuff here.
You brought up a good point, which I think we're shifting a transition from proprietary closed systems to more of a collaborative environment. I saw over here in the corner really one of the few products here that I could see transcending into the enterprise, and this was a product that was a collaboration tool that used the Microsoft HoloLens. And so you wear the HoloLens and you can collaborate with people, and I thought that was very interesting. The price point was a little high, but it certainly showed how in the demand for conference room spaces, being able to set up a space and collaborate without having to was quite innovative. The Lenovo folding was my first real interaction with a folding OLED display, but it was kind of creasy, so I wasn't really too impressed with it, but it was good to actually kind of see that product after several iterations.
Yeah, I want to echo what you said, David, and what you said, Adrian. I thought true wireless was certainly one of the big themes we've seen. Both how it's come down so much in price point over the last year so that it's so much more accessible to the average consumer, but also the addition of new features like active noise canceling to a lot of these new true wireless, and in the health and fitness space, but even more in the health and medical space. I've seen a lot of devices here to provide, a consumer version of care for stroke survivors, as an example. We've talked previously about some of the hearing aid technology that's come down a lot in price point and is a lot more accessible.
Okay, that's great. And there's also some of the, making sure we're working this time, there's also some of the products here that are actually a little bit silly. We have the Procter Gamble Charmin toilet paper delivery robot here, which I know you had a couple of comments about it regarding the Procter Gamble press conference, if you want to tell everybody.
I did, yeah. If you had to ask me at this point in time, and we're only 2 days in, what the best press conference I've been to, it's Procter Gamble. As Americans, you guys are very, very lucky to have such a corporate that's managing to innovate. In my area of the world, you've looked at Intel, Cisco, Hewlett-Packard, many big corporations who've tried to innovate, tried to act like a small company, and I think 9 times out of 10 they failed. The message I got from the Procter Gamble press conference yesterday was how clever they were at innovating and how clever they were at doing startups and funding startups. There's been a lot of interest on Twitter with the Charmaine toilet delivery system, which is a little robot drone that delivers toilet paper if you get stuck. that's meant as a joke. It's not meant as a proper product. One of the things that they had was some really good things from Oral-B, their toothpaste stuff. They had some other bits and pieces from eye care and hair care and makeup and bits and pieces. They had a very good razor system. And if you're a man and you shave with an electric razor, it's quite easy to do that. But think of talking about health and fitness, well-being. What if you have to shave your father who's not very well? Somebody who's older or Alzheimer's or whatever else. They've actually got special razors that they've developed which allow you to shave somebody else. They've really thought about it. They've been incredibly innovative. And I think they're just a great success story for U.S. corporates.
So I think we're talking about then what we saw. Another, I thought, very good press conference was the TCL conference. And I think it was just by going to the root, just going to the basics of what's important for us to hear in a conference. It wasn't a lot of extra whiz-bang. And it is important for them and for us because we want to see competition in the market, and we're seeing the drive confirming the larger displays at lower cost, and the demand correlates with 8K. So you have to have those displays in the market at the same time that you have the actual the sources coming in at the same time. So I thought they had a great story to tell, and I'm looking forward to products from them.
Well, I think sort of a sub-theme across all of this has been how AI is being brought in, almost not like the subtext of the product, but as the leading thing that the product is there to deliver. I felt that was one of the key themes actually in LG's conference. I was no longer buying smart home devices, a washer or dryer. I was buying an AI system delivered via the fridge that would know to order automatically, even down to their concept videos, right? The predictive, the emotional intelligence that the AI is starting to have. Yeah, I think it's going to be a real theme. It seems to be that next trend in AI where we go from using it as a buzzword to we really see how it helps us not just in concept, but how it comes into play as we start interconnecting the devices throughout a smart home.
And I'll be the cynic and the negative guy talking about the Panasonic press conference that we saw today. It's a 45-minute press conference. We were about 35 minutes in, and all they were giving us was a very big image advertisement. With Phelps, the gold medalist, that they have partnerships with them and partnerships with the Olympics, and they have partnerships with Disney and the Star Wars theme. And then they brought out stormtroopers to walk around the room. And you're in this press conference in a limited time. You're selecting them over other conflicting conferences. You're 45 minutes into the press conference, and you still haven't really heard about their vision or their products or their lineup or what they're doing. It was now some people loved that. They loved the gitch and they loved the fancy fun stuff. But for me, covering this event in a few days, it was really kind of a waste of time. So I certainly appreciated what we learned from the press conferences you talked about. I appreciate what we learned from the UHD Alliance with the whole concept of the filmmaker's vision, that they're all going to most of the broadcast sets are going to come with displays come with the filmmaker mode that will automatically be set to the vision of the director or the cinematographer, so that it won't be affected by processing in the display or any way that we've set it, that we like it brighter or darker, that whatever the cameraman and the filmmaker and the director wanted you to see, be it blurry or dark or with a different aspect ratio, that's how it'll show up in filmmaker mode as a default on your displays at home. So a lot of good information. And again, I'll reiterate that the show hasn't even started yet. It opens up Tuesday morning as we record this. That's tomorrow morning. That's when the halls open. We've just been going to the press events and the media events and the private events here. So I'll go once more. And by the way, thanks very much to Pepcom for inviting us with our peace beads and our peace sign and our 60s theme here. Let's give everybody one last word, and I'll go around. I'll start with you, Adrian. Any of your impressions or what you're looking forward to next couple of days?
Well, one of the things about the show, of course, is that CES is actually one of the largest car shows in the world. We always tend to forget that. If you turn up on the monorail, the first thing you see is the big BMW park. So I've already been to a couple of press conferences about electric vehicles. Byton with the big one, the Chinese brand, launching this year. So you'll see lots of car stuff. Mercedes are here, BMW are here, and there's a lot of Fisker. So there's a lot of electric car startups. So that's quite interesting for some people. In the AV world, which is one of the areas I want to focus on, of course, 8K is one of the big things. The 8K Association has been doing some good stuff with accreditation. Samsung and TCL. I do think that TCL and a couple of other Chinese companies will start giving people like Samsung a run for their money in this space. And then just generally around the show, I think wellness and health and fitness are going to be really, really big things.
Yeah, and my takeaway has to do with the robotics, which previously has been a focus on productivity, and they're really trying to find its niche, and it's transitioning, and it's a larger message about the quality of life. And I think we're seeing a lot of consumer products and focus on the quality of life. And for the enterprise, that's also important. The enterprise needs employees that are sleeping well, that have health considerations. So I think it's good to see more of those products that are focusing on that.
Well, yeah, I'll take from quality of life and talk a little bit about the smart home. We're seeing lots of smart locks. We have smart beds that will actually heat and cool automatically to help me sleep better. And these seem innovative, but they don't quite seem on the cutting edge of what the smart home can be. And I'm really interested, you know, with this theme of AI coming into everything we buy in our smart home, what are some of these new products, new concepts that we'll finally get to see in the smart home?
All right, well, terrific. Adrian and Mark and John, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Hopefully you'll stay with us through CES for the rest of the coverage that we're going to provide. Thanks very much. We'll chat with you soon.